Today I have faith journal ideas for your fall journals. We're using leaves to create a three-dimensional pull-out page. I'm showing you how I layer a title page and how to create a portfolio envelope page. Plus, don't miss my tip for fussy cutting detail pieces. Here we go, y'all. Well, hello and welcome to Pink Paper Peppermints. My name is Melissa and I'm so glad you're here. This is the first week of our My Heart of Thanksgiving journaling event on Instagram. And if you want to know more details, just go to the link below and you can get this free starter kit in my shop. It's got all the details that you need. So I'm working in my Dash Dory from Goosekeeper Designs and I will link her below. This is a little pocket page that we made last week and I'll link that below too. And this adorable little charm that I just got in the mail. I got that from KittyWitty Papercrafts, and I'll link her too. And I just wanted to show you, I added a little dedication page in the front, and I actually used a journaling card from last year's journaling event collection, and that's in my shop, and I'll link that below as well. And I wanted to show you how I just created a little dedication page, and this is actually Goosekeeper Designs die cut that I added to the front cover, and I just did a tip in with some washi tape there. But what we're going to work on first is our 3D leaf page, pull-out leaf page, and this is also known as a flag book, but I'm doing it as a page in my journal. And I'm using some extra pages from the Traveler's Notebook insert, the standard size, but you could use any 8x8 piece of paper, scrapbook paper, or painted papers, anything that you have that's 8x8. I'm just using the page from my Traveler's Notebook insert because it's matches and it's easy to do. And so what we're going to do is we are going to fold 1-inch folds, do 8 1-inch folds for an accordion fold. So I measured the first one, and then after that I just used the first one to measure. It doesn't have to be exact, but we want 8 folds about 1 inches. And so that's our accordion page, and now we're going to attach that into our book, and I just want to make sure it's going to fit right there, and I put my adhesive down, and then I realized that I wanted to round the corners on that because I wanted to blend in with the rounded corners of my notebook. So I just rounded the corners of those bottom pieces, and now I'm going to adhere it to the page. And so now that I've got that in, I'm going to choose what leaves that I want to use. And I'm using leaves from my Mega Ephemera Kit from the Heart of Thanksgiving collection. It comes with over 75 pieces, including these leaves. And I'm going to show you some tricks for cutting these out in a little while, but I've already cut these out. And basically when we're creating this little flag page, what you want to do is you're going to go every other leaf. So the first leaf is going to be on the left side of the first fold, and the second leaf is going to be on the right side of that first fold, and the third leaf will be on the left side. And you'll do that for each of the peaks of the folds of the accordion album. And I think as you watch this, you'll see what I mean, but I've also got a little diagram to help you to understand it because it sounds a lot more confusing than it is when you're doing it. So we are doing the Heart of Thanksgiving event, and in that starter kit there comes a sheet with the scriptures and the prompts for creating your faith journal layout, which is what I'm showing you here. And what I'm going to do is type some of these blessings from Ephesians 1 on my leaves. And so I'm just going to run them through the typewriter and pick out those blessings and type them on the leaves. So now I'm back from the typewriter and you can see that I've typed my blessings on the leaves here, and now I'm going to attach the leaves to my accordion folds. And so I'm just putting a little adhesive on the bottom of the leaf and adding it to the accordion fold. And as you can see, I'm doing the first one on the left side of the fold and the second one on the right side of the fold and the third one on the left side of the fold. And you're going to do that on each fold so that you end up with 9 leaves on all your folds. And when you pull out your accordion page, you're going to see it spreads the leaves out and looks really pretty. And so here's the diagram that I was showing you. Left side, right side, left side of each of those peaks on the accordion fold. And if you get confused when you go to do this, just watch the video again and slow it down and pause it, and once you do it once, it's super easy to figure out. So then the other thing that I'm doing is I'm just taking one of the labels from the kit and creating like a little pull tab and writing pull on it. and taking another label and putting it on the back side of that just to make it pretty there, like that. And there is our pretty pull-out 3D page. And then I've got room to journal on both sides of that, which I'm going to do a little bit later. So now I wanted to just show you how I put together my title page. The starter kit comes with 4 prompt cards, and we're going to do 1 prompt each week. We wanted to keep it really low stress, and so we just have 1 prompt. You can do 1 page or you can do more than 1 page with that prompt. And so what I'm doing is just creating a big stack of layers, and I'm using different netting and different pieces that I've painted, a silk leaf, and just stacking up my layers and creating, I like nice full layers for a title page. And once I get it all stacked up, I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine and stitch it all down, and then I'm going to use adhesive to adhere it to the page. That's actually a piece from my mini tag kit that I've tucked in there. I printed it on the wrong kind of paper, so I decided to see if it would look good in my layers, and a book page, and usually I just use scraps that are on my desk when I'm creating layers. So I've used a zigzag stitch here and just stitched my whole stack together, as you can see there. I didn't want to stitch it to the page because I didn't want the stitches to show through on the other side, so I'm just going to adhere it with my adhesive to the page here. And then I've got these butterflies. Now butterflies aren't usually fall really, but they were just such a pretty brown and orange with gold flecks colors that I thought they would look really good with the Thanksgiving theme and colors, and so I decided to add some of those in for a little pop. And then I wanted to add a card on the opposite page, and so I'm using these silk flowers. I get asked a lot about them. I usually just buy them in a bunch like this, whatever colors or designs strike me at the time at the craft store, and then I just pull them apart and use them on my page. This is actually a sheet of word art, and if you saw the video last week, you know that this went out to my subscribers for free. If it's something that you think you might like, you can subscribe to my newsletter. The link is in the description below, and I'll be sending that out every week for the whole month, October and November. I'll make sure and include that link if you would like to get those. And so I'm just layering that prompt with the word art and a little sequin, and I'm using my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher to staple it all together. And then I'm just going to use some washi tape to create a tip-in that I can journal in. Just talking about this first week of our journaling event. And so now I'm going to add some stamping, I think, with my favorite thing in the world, roller stamps. Oh no, I did want to give you this tip about, I get asked a lot about this because I do really chunky journaling, and people ask me, well, how do you write on that? And so this is what I do. I just slip a book underneath the surface where I want to stamp or write, and then I have a nice flat surface to work on, and then when I'm finished, I just take it out. So I'm using this roller stamp from, I'm using 2. One is from Studio Calico, and one is from American Crafts, the Creative Devotion line, and I'm adding that journaling. I added a little butterfly, and that is a Beautiful Mess date stamp, my favorite date stamp, and I don't think that is available anymore, but really any date stamp would work fine there. So now what we're going to do is make a portfolio page, and I'm using those Traveler's Notebook insert pages again, and you can see I rounded the corner, and I'm just going to fold in about 1/2 inch to 1 inch on one side, and then fold the other side to meet it. And you can see already we've got kind of an envelope going, and now I'm going to create some tabs, and I'm going to round the corners, and I'm going to cut about 3-inch tabs from one strip of this Traveler's Notebook insert page, and you can see here that I'm just kind of eyeballing how wide to make it, and then I'm using the first one that I cut to measure and cut the second one. And this does not have to be exact. This doesn't have to be a very precise measurements. You're just trying to create some flaps so that you can keep whatever you put in your portfolio page inside it. And so I'm just using washi tape to attach my flaps. If you didn't want washi tape that showed, you could use adhesive, or you could use a sewing machine to attach the flaps. And you can see when you fold them in, there's kind of a gap there. If that bothers you, what you can do is flip it over and use your washi tape to seal up the back sides, and then that gap will be gone when you flip it back over. And you'll see what I mean here when we flip it over, and we're going to fold it in, and now you can't see that gap anymore. It doesn't really bother me, but I know that some people might not like that, so I wanted to show an alternative. And so now we just need to create a little closure for our portfolio page, and I'm going to use this leaf, and you can see it's got a white edge to it, which I don't really want on this beige paper, and so I want to trim that off. And I wanted to show you, the leaves have really intricate details, but we don't want to have to cut all of those. And so here's what I do when something's got a lot of little intricate details like that. I just kind of wiggle the shape back and forth, creating sort of a mirror image of that. I don't know if that's the right way to explain it, but I just wiggle it back and forth, kind of creating the illusion that I've gone in and cut all those little pieces out, but I don't actually cut them out because, who has time for that? So hopefully this will help you try that. And you want to move the paper and not your scissors. So you're going to hold your scissors and you're just going to take the paper and wiggle it back and forth, and you're going to get that kind of curly edge on your leaves. So you can see here that I've taken it to the sewing machine and just did a zigzag stitch, but you could also staple it on, or you could use adhesive, and now it makes the perfect little closure for our envelope flap. And now I'm just taking some washi tape and tipping it in to my journal. And what that means is a tip-in is you're just taping something into your journal that wasn't a part of it originally. And so I had to kind of start over there because I got it a little too low. And so I've taped it on the front. I'm going to fold it over and tape it on the back as well, just to make sure it stays in really nicely in my journal. And then I've got all this area to journal on the back of it in the next page, and now I can put things inside my portfolio. And what I'm going to do is use my numbered leaves from my ephemera set, and I'm going to write more blessings. Since we're doing counting your blessings as part of our journaling event this year, I'm going to write more blessings on the back of those leaves and tuck those inside my portfolio page. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I have got lots more fun ideas for you next week, so I hope you'll stop by. If you did like this, would you share it with someone, or maybe give me a thumbs up? I would so appreciate that. And tell me in the comments below, do you think you're going to try this flag page? Did it look kind of scary, or do you think it'd be fun? I am so excited to see you next week. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you next time here on Pink Paper Peppermints.